Well, there's one thing about it. If you don't have anything else to talk about, you can always talk about the weather in Kentucky. Fortunately, we've got a great deal of other news to talk about as well. But we're going to talk about the weather forecast. Where else are you going to have sun to the tune of 78 degrees, thunderstorms, showers, a wind advisory, and some snow in a less than 24-hour window, give or take? Well, Kentucky. It's a prime spot for real estate of that nature with that type of weather condition. Well, we'll talk about that, and that's just exactly what we're looking at, a really significant cold front, a developing late winter storm, accumulating snow. I don't think so. Whiteout conditions? Yeah, certainly possible. Wind chill advisories near zero? Yes, quite likely. Gust upwards of 40 miles per hour, 45, maybe even greater. That wind advisory to take effect very soon. It's in a mixed bag of tricks in your weather forecast. We'll get to that in just a few seconds. A great deal of other news to cover. Coverage from the Montgomery County Fiscal Court session, largely discussing roads, state and county, primary and secondary in Montgomery County. Millions of dollars worth of improvements to be made here in the Sayersville, Montgomery County area. We'll get to all of that. And we'll talk about the latest in regards to those 10 days that the state may be granting to school districts in regards to their calendars, which have been lengthened due to Mother Nature. Scores from, real quickly, regional tournament action. A couple of auto accidents. One very serious this morning. A Montgomery County woman was airlifted from the scene in addition to her injuries, which we don't think were life-threatening, but according to paramedics with the ambulance service, serious enough to warrant air transport to a trauma center. She was feet from drowning in her vehicle after it crashed over an embankment, landing on its top near just enough water to possibly cause what could have been a much worse situation. I'll take you to the scene and talk about all of that in just a few moments. And only a few things elsewhere in the program tonight. In eastern Kentucky, two reports, both from Pike County, one involving another armed robbery and another fatal auto accident in eastern Kentucky. With the latter first, a man is facing charges with more pending after a crash over the weekend in Pike County that claimed one life. Kentucky State Police reports say that sometime around 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, 45-year-old Barry Shortridge of Mouthcard was traveling on US 460 in the Feds Creek community. He lost control of his vehicle. It ran off the road, struck a guardrail. He overcorrected. It then crossed the center line and then struck an oncoming vehicle that was being operated by Terry Sawyers of Mouthcard. Sawyers was killed shortly thereafter or upon impact. A passenger in his vehicle was also injured and taken to the Pikeville Medical Center with what I understand is non-life-threatening injuries. As for Shortridge, he was arrested for driving under the influence and leaving the scene of the accident and thus lodged in the Pike County Detention Center, and we suspect further charges to be filed in regards to Mr. Sawyers' death. And the Kentucky State Police are also investigating another robbery in eastern Kentucky, this one in Pikeville, this specifically in South Williamson of Pike County, where they say that a man robbed the Big Lots in that eastern Kentucky community after coming in around 7 o'clock last evening into the store, handing a note describing that he had a handgun or a weapon, not really specifically saying what kind of weapon. He never also brandished that weapon either, but did imply through that note that he did have such a weapon and demanded money. As a result, he got away with still an undetermined amount of cash. No arrests have been made, and right now police have not mentioned any specifics as far as the individual or individuals they are looking for in the case. The latest of a string of robberies, more so in Floyd and Pike counties in eastern Kentucky as of the past several months. Well, to make up or not make up, proposed legislation to waive up to 10 snow days for Kentucky school districts' calendars did clear the House earlier today. 10 calls on Kentucky State Education Commissioner Terry Holliday to grant requests from school districts who have missed many days, some more than 20, some more than 30, this giving them 10 days back to put back on their calendar. While it wasn't without some question and some debate today, House Bill 410 did clear the Kentucky House. How many days each district will be receiving? Well, if it eventually passes and is signed into law by the governor, that will be determined by the specific language of the bill therein, which does include an emergency clause that means that once upon signed by Governor Steve Beshear, it will take effect immediately. There are 173 school districts in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and by state law, they all have to have 170 instructional days, and many have missed 20 days or better of class. Montgomery County, one of those school districts. And Under current Kentucky law, Education Commissioner Terry Holliday can already forgive up to 10 disaster days if a district has missed more than 20 days, providing that it meets certain guidelines to adjust instruction. But House Bill 410 would instead result in days automatically waived upon request by school districts throughout the Commonwealth. And House Bill 410 still has a few more hurdles to go. As for House Bill 410, it's expected that a decision will come rather quickly on the matter, so that school districts can make arrangements and deal with their calendars, of course, and make plans for the end of the school year. As for individual school districts, for example, the Montgomery County Board of Education, I spoke with Superintendent of Schools Stanley Holbrook earlier today in a brief conversation. He says that if those days are granted or waived, so to speak, that matter will be taken up by the next session of the Montgomery County Board of Education, and that it may not be an automatic 10 days for all school districts who apply. As of right now, the Montgomery County school system has missed 25 days, and that puts them out for students on June the 3rd. And you can leave that window open, so to speak, because winter, as we are about to be reminded, is certainly not over. This is a reminder. I'll be right back after these words.
Appalachian Wireless has the latest technology in wireless with the most affordable price. It's the new Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini. This phone does it all in a brand new size. It has expandable memory with up to 64 gigabytes, a great 8-megapixel camera with flash and autofocus. It even has a front-facing camera for Google Hangout. The Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini. Buy one at $49.99. Get the second one for only a penny when you sign up for service. Appalachian Wireless. Better service, bigger savings.
Faster, friendlier, family-owned Parkway Pharmacy, open 8:30 till 6:30 Monday through Friday in the new McGoffin Medical Plaza under the care of local pharmacist Jesse Rudd. To make Parkway Pharmacy your pharmacy, come by or give us a call at 349-4400. From time and money-saving services like their overdraft protection, telephone and online banking services, to finding the right home, college, or car loan, to personalized checking and savings accounts designed around your exact needs, Sagersville National Bank is still your best choice and the same locally owned and operated bank that's been looking out for your family's financial health since 1902. Sagersville National, restoring the piggy bank population one savings at a time. If you're thinking it feels like spring is never going to get here, then stop in the seasonal shop in Sagersville where it's already sprung. They've got all the colors, styles, and all the collections of the season just bursting from home decor and dishware and table settings and so much more. Plus monogrammed and the most colorful of ways to say welcome. All this and so much more at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop, just down from the drugstore and the Radio Shack. Always the best selection of hand-picked, quality, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all with the service, prices, and financing aimed at making sure you drive off with the deal and vehicle you've been looking for. Premier Motors in Paintsville, 297-4121. An auto accident yesterday evening, just as I was with you for the early show, and then a serious one earlier this morning. We'll take you to the first, where a man was driving his pickup truck and it overturned, sending him to the hospital. 22-year-old Mitchell Connolly was the driver and the individual who suffered minor injuries, fortunately, as a result of this single-vehicle collision. It happened on Route 460, very near the junction with Elk Creek there at the BP, about a half-mile past. You can see that locale in the background of the video. He apparently dropped off the shoulder of the roadway, struck the rock cliff with the driver's side of the pickup truck, and then that impact threw it around and onto its side and reversed, as you can see there. He was out of the vehicle upon arrival of emergency personnel, but was taken by the TranStar Ambulance Service to the Paul B. Hall Medical Center for non-life-threatening injuries. Then earlier this morning, eyewitnesses to the accident itself told a first responder and Montgomery County fireman that they saw the accident that seriously injured Joy Joseph. She was fortunately alone in her vehicle and traveling towards Royalton when it left the roadway, went over a very large embankment, and overturned in a body of water.
I arrived on scene as the guy standing down there at the rail tracks with her. Got down there and assessed her. She was still seatbelted in upside down. Looks like she lost it. She tried to gain control. The road was slick, and she lost it, and it nose dived over and landed on its top.
There was some very light moisture that made it much more hazardous than motorists may have expected this morning. That's believed to be one of the reasons that Joseph lost control of her car. It plummeted over that embankment, landed on its top, and look how close she came to this being a more so of a water-related incident. As Carpenter described, she was belted in and still hanging from the vehicle, feet away from it being submerged in water. Even though that water was only a few feet in depth, it was more than deep enough to have possibly caused a drowning situation. Nevertheless, she was still seriously injured. Even though buckled in, which more than likely may have saved her life, she still suffered serious injuries. Paramedics with the TranStar ambulance service recognized those injuries and requested a helicopter. One of the Health Net Medical Services choppers landed in the landing zone established in downtown Royalton. From there, she was taken to the Pikeville Medical Center. An update on behalf of her family to the newsroom a few moments ago says that she was still in surgical ICU. She did suffer several, maybe even as many as 6 broken ribs, more than 1 concussion, and also a broken clavicle as a result of that collision. Hers was the only vehicle involved, and once again, as I said, she was the only individual inside the car. More headlines to come, including millions of dollars of road work discussed in the fiscal court meeting, as well as other important items, and some scores and weather stats to get to. But for now, here's tonight's calendar brought to you by our friends at McGoffin Farm Bureau. And it starts off with an anniversary wish that we got a little cross with another announcement last night. I now have it says, a happy 22nd anniversary. Ruby says they were blissfully wed on March the 10th of 1992, and it's been a wonderful 22 years since. And she wanted to wish her husband Dwayne a very happy 22nd anniversary. Happy anniversary to you both. And a very happy 14th birthday with all their hearts, with lots of love from Mom, Cole, Kayla, and Corey. Happy birthday to Keith Fletcher. It's his 14th. Happy birthday. An announcement from North McGoffin Elementary. Their site-based council meets in regular session. This meeting set for tomorrow, 4 o'clock, in the school's conference room. Everyone's invited and welcome, and these meetings are, as always, open to the public. A couple of other meetings also open to the public. The McGoffin County Local Board for Kentucky ASAP and Drug-Free Communities has set their quarterly meeting for March the 17th. That's next Monday, 6 o'clock in the McGoffin County Health Department's community room. And the Substance Abuse Free Environment SAFE Coalition has their regular monthly meeting set for next Wednesday at noon. Same locale, the McGoffin County Health Department Community Education Room. And that's it for somewhat of a brief calendar. Gives me just a second to remind you, this is how you can get announcements just like that on the program. Birthdays, anniversaries, and the like, they're always free. Local and area funeral service announcements provided on behalf of the McGoffin County Funeral Home and McGoffinCountyFuneralHome.com, which includes services to be held in honor of 46-year-old Estel Hale of Gunlock, who passed away on Sunday the 9th, the son of the late Dan and Nancy Wireman Hale. He survived by his wife, Barbara, a daughter, Heather Nicole Hale, and sons Estel Douglas, Cameron Taylor, Cody Ryan, and Anthony Chase Hale. Visitation continues this evening, as it does all day tomorrow and until services. They are set to start Thursday morning at 11. Services will be at the Trace Fork Holiness Church. Burial at the Wireman Cemetery at Waldo. The McGoffin County Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. And the McGoffin County Funeral Home has just forwarded a partial announcement in honor of 49-year-old Billy Jordan of Sagersville, who passed away on today's date at his home. They tell me arrangements are incomplete at this time, but to be announced soon on behalf of, once again, the McGoffin County Funeral Home and the Jordan family.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Game time means wing time at Lee's, and that means it's time for you to try our new buffalo wings. I can't tell you our secret, but I can tell you they're marinated and then rolled in our famous, albeit a little spicy, crispy chicken batter and served up with any of our 7 delectable sauces. So get your hands on a meal or a box today at your Sagersville Lee's famous recipe, where no one does chicken like we do chicken.
The New Year's sales event rolls on at Conley's with 3.99% and up to $1,000 in rebates on new Polarises. Kawasaki's got 3.95% or save up to $1,500 in cash. And just in, Polaris Power digital inverter generators, ultra quiet and ultra affordable at Conley's, Kawasaki, and Polaris of Paintsville.
Have you ever noticed how many insurance commercials and advertisements are on television nowadays? You can't watch your favorite program without seeing a little pig or green lizard trying to sell you insurance and get your money for their premiums. But let me ask you this. If you have been in a serious wreck, do you really think that you are in good hands of the insurance companies when you have lost wages, medical bills, and pain and suffering from your head to your toes? The answer is no. If you want to truly be in good hands, give me a call. I'm attorney Donald Wayne McFarland. Let me put my 20 years of experience in working to protect the rights of injured people to work for you. 349-9000.
Hi, I'm Rodney Minnick, born and raised in McGoffin County. I wish to see my family and theirs one day grow old in a place I so love. But to live here and be safe, we need to put honor, experience, and confidence in the Sheriff's Department. A graduate of the Department of Criminal Justice Academy, I have 7 years of dedicated service to McGoffin and Johnson County, and with your support, I would like to take that leadership straight to those responsible for selling drugs and stealing from our home. Please vote Rodney Minnick, Republican candidate for Sheriff of McGoffin County. Thank you.
Much of the discussion in the McGoffin County Fiscal Court meeting most recently was about roads. Craig Linden of the State Department of Highways was there as they pay an annual visit to fiscal courts all across the state of Kentucky in regards to planned maintenance or repaving on state, rural, secondary, primary, and county roads for that matter, reminding the McGoffin County Fiscal Court that last year the state recommended paving and resurfacing be done to routes 867 and 1081, and that paving for Route 378, since the bids were let out later in the year, that road not finished. So that goes back to last year. That's to be one of the very first to be resurfaced just as soon as the weather permits and the projects get underway. He further with him went to outline projects slated for this year, recommendations made by the state. County governments have the option of submitting their own recommendations for the state to reconsider should they deem other roads more needy of attention. However, I can tell you that McGoffin County Fiscal Court did unanimously pass those recommendations which were made by the state in regards to major primary routes and rural secondary McGoffin County roads.
He outlined first major primary routes in McGoffin County, two of which the state is recommending for not just a resurfacing, but a much more of a rehab. That will include some widening, some milling, and other details to a portion of Route 7 and a portion of Route 30, only a few miles, but totaling more than $11 million.
Starts there at the rescue squad and goes down to the parkway in front of the existing high school, and I think the middle school is located there as well. Right. Which is 1.164 miles at an estimated cost of $3.5 million. And the other major primary route for McGoffin County is Kentucky 30, which begins there at 460 and goes to the Parkway Extension. That starts there at the garage. What's the name? Williams Garage. And goes to the Parkway. And how much is that this time? That one is 8.1 million, which is 2.109 miles.
Linden described how McGoffin County has 94.116 miles of rural secondary roads, and their allotment from the state this year will be $1.296 million. 35,000 of that, well, actually, that number reduced by 35,000 from the numbers last year. That due to, he says, a 1.5% reduction in the gas or fuel tax. It's a sliding scale, and it may change, but that right now is their estimate based upon current figures. Now, as he also detailed, there is going to be $116,000 that the county will use for road surfacing of their own. And then the amount used for maintenance, snow removal, things of that nature is more than $500,000, leaving $630,000 for the state to apply towards resurfacing.
That leaves the Highway Department of the Cabinet $633,911 to spend on our state-maintained routes. And also on the map there, I've identified the two projects that I'm going to go over here. We have two routes that we're going to propose. Both of those are resurfacing. The first one is Kentucky 1081, which is referred to here as Coon Creek, but it's a big long name that is on our books, which is Harper, Edna, Wanney, Willersburg, Elk Creek, Lickburg, Falcon Road, which begins 0.160 miles east to the junction of Brushy Fork and Coon Creek at mile marker 10.392 and ends at the junction of the bridge over Mine Fork Road at mile marker 14.947, which is a distance of 4.555 miles at an estimated cost of $377,057. Our second recommendation is Kentucky 1593, which is Edna Great Creek Likens Road, which begins at state maintenance at mile marker 0 and ends at the junction Kentucky 1081 at mile marker 4.157, which is a distance of 4.157 miles of resurfacing at an estimated cost of $314,108. These two recommendations come to a total of 8.712 miles of resurfacing at an estimated cost of $691,165. Again, these are the Cabinet's recommendations. If the fiscal court has any recommendations that they would like to place on the rural secondary program, they would need to be prioritized here today in order to place it on the program for consideration. And I put the program together, I send that in to Commissioner Pasley and his staff, and they approve or disapprove it. Is there a motion to?
And just a couple of other items that were discussed during the meeting. The bridge on Route 30 that we all know oh so well, the narrow concrete bridge, which is just that narrow and concrete, and it's also been the site of some damage due to some auto and other accidents, if you will, over the past few years. It is slated to be replaced, and it's going to be a very significant project. We'll outline that more as soon as we know more, but it was mentioned by State Representative John Short, who's also on the Transportation Committee, who was present, as you saw, during that meeting for the McGoffin County Fiscal Court, that project is slated and on the books, and bids are to be let out around July or August of this year. About $2.8 million in total that project will entail. We'll let you know more just about its entirety as soon as we know more. Judge Harden also explained that they were going to be contracting with local truck drivers for gravel to be hauled. They're going to start to do that around March the 24th when that need arises in a little more full swing, so to speak. And if you've got some old tires lying around, no businesses, no scrap yards, things of that nature, but any private individual, they're taking all kinds of tires. That's automobile and coal truck as well. And they will be accepting them April 24th, 25th, and 26th. That, of course, is the lot across from the transfer station just before North McGoffin Elementary if you're leaving Sagersville towards West Liberty and Elk Creek there. And they're going to be all open all day that Saturday, the last day of collection. We'll have that on the calendar and remind you, but if you've got tires you've been holding on to, waiting to get rid of, April 24th, 5th, and 6th are the dates. We've got some more numbers to consider. First off, before we get to those in the forecast, which are plummeting in regards to our temperatures, here are scores from last night's semifinal matchups in the boys' 15th region.
In one half of semifinal action last night, you had Shelby Valley and Lawrence County, and by 12 points, Shelby Valley advanced on to the championship round over Lawrence County. Lawrence County shutting down their season in the postseason with an official 21-11 standing. Shelby Valley advanced to 20-10 with the win, and of course to tonight's championship round, tip-off set for 8 o'clock. And they'll be taking on defending 15th region champion, the boys from Johnson Central, after an easy lopsided win over Prestonsburg. Central 92, Prestonsburg 40, and that comes after a shellacking of 84-43 in the regular season. So you've got Johnson Central and Shelby Valley tip-off set for 8 o'clock tonight, the winner going to state. And while we here in the viewing area and a whole lot of other folks have enjoyed a winner of a forecast, well, this game's about over. Time for another shocker. Here we go. And it's all going to be happening very, very soon. We'll begin, though, with a very nice evening in store. Check out tonight's low, 52 beautiful degrees. 77, 79 is what I clocked at the newsroom for daytime highs earlier today. Folks, that's just pretty much 80 degrees. 52 for the nighttime low, and that's not winter weather. That's not even early spring weather. Nevertheless, it all is going to start to fade away with increasing clouds and some showers late. Some showers to the tune of around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so very, very late. Now, keep in mind, after that, it's a developing late winter storm system that's going to move through the southern Ohio Ohio Valley with strong and gusty winds in eastern Kentucky. The winds will be from the southwest, quickly switching to the west, finally to the northeast by tomorrow evening. It's going to be a mix. Wind advisory is in effect from 8 o'clock in the morning through 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Winds southwest 10 to 25 mile per hour, gusts up to 40 to 45 through the morning. Then they're going to switch to the west, 15 to 30 mile per hour, gusts 40 to 45 in the afternoon, then becoming northwest in the evening, and there's still going to be 15 to 40 miles per hour possible at that time. An area of low pressure deepening rapidly as it crosses the northern Kentucky area late tonight into your Wednesday morning before making its way to New England by late Wednesday night, and this is going to threaten the area with a few thunderstorms late tonight, specifically early in the morning, as the storm center heads east and continues to intensify. And those strong southwest winds are going to precede the associated cold front, and it's just going to get rough as we go. Now, all that shower and thunderstorm activity tomorrow on the back side of things, well, a little snow is going to work its way in there. We don't see any accumulation, a half inch or less in the upper elevations, but with winds, it will be near whiteout or whiteout conditions for the latter part of Wednesday night. How's all that sound? Well, if you're not liking that, you're not going to like Thursday's forecast so much either. That's just how strong of a cold front we're dealing with. We're going to go from 79 degrees today to 33 by the time Thursday gets here. 17 for the nighttime low, mostly sunny, partly cloudy late. We'll start to rebound thereafter, and then we're going to stick in the 50s for several days there on end. But enjoy this evening. Go out, sit around the patio, and think about how wonderful it's been, because a big game changer is in store tomorrow, and the cold air is on the back side of it. And then we'll get back into really where we should be this time of year, the 50s, and we're going to stay there for a few days. For now, that's all the news I've got time for tonight. Making a special trip tomorrow to a new facility serving eastern Kentucky, and a couple of other big stories I hope to be able to work in to tomorrow night's program, so join us then. For now, thank you for watching, and have a good night.